Music producers, songwriters, yeah, I'm talking to you. Have you ever found yourself surrounded, swarming in a pile of unfinished music? Things you started but didn't quite get through the finish line on, and by now maybe they're on several hard drives all over the place, just piling up. Well, guess what? In my last video, I gave 5 tips on how to finish your track. But I also introduced the concept that I have a tool that I work with that helps me to finish my tracks. I call it my production checklist. In this video, I'm gonna go over in detail how I use the spreadsheet and yeah, just give you a few more details about that because the other video was just getting a bit too long. Ready, set, let's go. What's up, everybody? Sky Deep here, and I am a music producer, multimedia artist, lover of community, lover of virtual reality. Ooh. But you know what I really love to do? I love to finish things, and it's not the easiest thing when you have so many ideas swirling in your head. If I'm speaking for myself, I felt the need and actually the joy to present this video to you and to offer you a tool that I managed to develop for myself over the past years that helped me to finish tracks. Especially the more and more that I've started to work for other people's productions, for film, TV music, or for theater music, as well as maybe sometimes just needing to do a remix for a friend. All of these things tend to get piled up and jumbled in my head, and then I can't remember which hard drive where whatever track was and or which program did I start it on, all these things. What did I even name it at first? Like, I don't know about you, but none of my first tracks start out with the final name, right? Like it has some weird name and then I figure it out later. So anyway, let's dive right in. I'm gonna jump into breaking down how this production checklist works towards helping you finish your tracks. Here it is. We have my production checklist. It's a Google spreadsheet, yes. And you can use whatever tool works for you. Here I just tried to color code. Now, right now you just see a whole bunch of colors and text on the screen, right? But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of show you the blank version. So this is the blank version as if no music had been made. All right, and this is, you know, this is a beautiful place to start. Like I probably would start a sheet like this for every production. Like some productions I have to write 20 songs or 10 songs, and this might help me keep track of where I'm at in them. So maybe I'll take you back to my list and we'll get through it. I'll show you the key first though. So this is just a very fast key here that would demonstrate what each color means. So if it's white, then that means it's kind of just started, like a pre-start or a sketch of an idea. Then once we get to this blue or turquoise color, this means that the sketch has become a little bit more advanced. Then we see this orange color. That means that the arrangement has started, that it's partially arranged. Then the purple with the white text is that it's probably in the mixing stage now or in a finalization stage of some sort. And then once you see this bold yellow text in the purple field, that means that the song has been completed. All right, so let's take a look. Here we have a demonstration of some things that were finished and some things not. Now, this is from tracks from a long time ago, but I wanted to show you a real life example of how this can look for you. So let's take a look at the first column. Actually not the first. The first column is obviously the numbers, right? Then we have a column here, column B, which is it complete or not? And I can just drag that out so it looks a little more clear. So complete with a question mark. Is it? Yes or no or nearly? All right, so some of them I didn't put anything because I just, if it's not nearly, and if it's, sometimes I just don't want to put a no, but I put the options there. Then the next column over, we have the song name. Now, when I first begin a track, I don't know the song name yet, so I might just have like a weird name, like, well, this isn't, this is somebody I was working with at the time. I was working with Tina from Slovenia. And the idea of the song was Brave, and the working file name ended up kind of nested in this Ableton session of Evolve the Nations, which is the show that I put together, I think, when I was doing something, artist residency in Slovenia or something, many years ago. 2015, in fact, because I can already see the date that I started this session. I also have the hard drive ID because in the event that I would switch hard drives or something, I need to be able to know where that is. So the working file name, let's go back to Brave Tina, was that. I leave the song name blank until it's finished and ready to be released. And then we have the BPM at the time. And sometimes the BPM changes later, but at least when I'm thinking about it, I can always come back to it and know what kind of tempo I'm dealing with. If I want to categorize the genre, I have a column for that. Also, I have a column to discuss mood, as well as is it sequenced or not? So in some cases, I'm waiting on other people to come through before I sequence it. In this case, I wrote Waiting for Dikumbi, which is another artist that I had been working with. Let's go back. And still yet, does it have vocals on it? It's a question mark. So in some cases, no. In some cases, yes, I planned for there to be singing or spoken word, but that's just a chance for me to enter it there if it's relevant, right? Guitar planned. I love guitar. I play guitar, so sometimes I like to always keep it as a consideration. Then here we have guest. Then we have a mix down, like has it been mixed? And as I've made a drop down here, yes or no, or in progress. And so on and so forth. Stems, did I make stems for this already? Sometimes the stems are just for a live performance. Sometimes the stems are for more than that. Maybe it's for a remix or for archiving or something. But anyway, that's the overview if we look at it based on the columns. And when you look at the whole picture, I use the color coding to assist in being able to figure out when I show up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and I look at a list like this, maybe in the morning I show up and I go, I'm not so creative today. Actually, I think what I want to do is mix. I feel more like a technician today, so I'm gonna mix. So I look through my sheet and I look for things that are maybe on its way to being mixed, like maybe it's sequenced already, or even if it's not sequenced, I can still perform some mixing, but I look through my list, I see where I'm at with things, and I might highlight some things that I decide that day I feel like doing. And it's very easy to do because all I have to do is follow my notes, okay? Same thing with creativity. Maybe I feel like arranging that day. If it's not arranged, that's what I do. But if I want to start from scratch, this is what I do. I go to a blank part of the sheet and I start a new section. And I don't start with a song name. I start with maybe a working file name. Like, for example, there was one day I had gone to, where is it? Like, this one is pretty random and I never did finish it, but I know where to find it if I want to. This one says Lidl Maybachhofe. Lidl Maybachhofe. This is, Maybachhofe is a street in Berlin and Lidl is the supermarket. And I think that day I happened to be going past it and I thought of a beat. I thought some kind of music popped in my head And when I got to my computer, I decided to work on it, and I called it Lidl My Bahufa. And I started like that. I make sure I put the date immediately. I make sure that wherever I save the session, I write the hard drive, and then I just go from there and I update the sheet as needed. Okay, so how about for you? I thought maybe it's a good idea that I make a sheet like this available to you. In fact, I have a plan to update the sheet because back when I first made it, I made it only kind of with Ableton Live in mind because that was my primary and only tool for music creation. Because I have a lot more gear now, and it's not just a computer, I now plan to enhance this spreadsheet to include having spaces for various MIDI devices or outboard gear. That way, we will have a column that shows not only, say, all the things that I just showed you, which have to do with just like a software, like a DAW file, but then I might add over here, I might add for my Akai MPC, you know, and then I'll have to change all the colors, of course. So just to give you a quick visual of how that might look, you know, right? I might have Akai MPC there, and I might have Syntakt here, and so on and so forth. And then we will make columns that say, you know, which MIDI channels was I using, or which of these devices was leading and which of these devices was following as far as MIDI and sync information and things like that. This could have to do with effects boxes that you may have or whatever, but the whole gist of it is at the end of the day, you need to be able to know where you're at with finishing the tracks. And the really exciting thing about it is, like, again, this is an older sheet, so, you know, I have a new process that I restart all the time, but you'll see very quickly how your tracks just fill up and go on, and next thing you know, you'll realize you didn't even know you had 100 tracks in the works. And you might just spend a big chunk of time just going through and seeing which ones you wish to finish this year or not. So I hope that you got some value out of this. What I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna go ahead and polish this off and set it up for you and make it available for download for all of you. I'm happy to share this knowledge with you, but this has been 10 years in the making, this document. And while it may not be the most beautiful thing on the planet, it is quite useful. And I have had people ask me for screenshots of this. So if doing spreadsheets is your thing, you can absolutely go ahead and just make something like this for yourself. But if you find that you feel a little bit allergic to Excel spreadsheets, I got you. I made it. It's done. Yeah. So you can get it for just a couple of bucks over on my website. And so I'm going to leave a link for that down in the description so that you can get started to finishing your tracks ASAP. All right. So there you have it. We have gone through this checklist, and now I open it up to you again with links down in the bottom for you to be able to have this very spreadsheet for yourself. But of course, if you've already got the skills and the patience, go ahead and hook yourself up a quick checklist and make your own color scheme. You don't have to go with my color scheme, you know, but fun with colors and fun with music. Yeah, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you on the next round.